Hi everybody, my name is Krista Loos, one of the registered dietitians here at KSB. And I wanted to talk to you today about kind of reimagining our nutrition-based New Year's resolutions. So our overview, or a couple things we're going to talk about today. I'm going to mention or go through some of the health behaviors. We're going to talk a little bit about the addition mindset around food and nutrition. And then we're going to talk about sustainable change for some of these, for the introduction of some of these health behaviors. So, a few things that are really supportive of our health. So, starting with food, eating a variety of foods. And so this would mean making sure that we have carbs, protein, fat, plenty of fiber in our diets, plenty of fruits and vegetables, really making sure we have all of the things from all of the different food groups. We want to make sure we have a positive relationship with food in our body. We want to make sure we're engaging in movement or exercise that is really enjoyable for us. So that might be thinking outside of the box a little bit and doing different kinds of movements that are exciting, feel a little bit more like play. Maybe that's like hula hooping or dancing or things like that. We want to take a look at sleep hygiene overall, really important for our energy levels throughout the day. And then we want to take a look at our overall stressors and different kind of coping mechanisms we're introducing to kind of help support that stress level in our lives. And examples, I wanted to give a couple examples of how food plays a role in supporting our health. And so one would be helping regulate blood sugar. And so this might be especially important for somebody who has diabetes, and we need to take a little bit of a closer kind of approach to managing that blood sugar. But it's also applicable for kind of every human. We want to make sure that our blood sugar is very stable throughout the day, because this is really helpful in creating a very stable energy for us throughout the day. And so what that might look like in kind of pairing our food would be anytime we have a carbohydrate-rich food, we want to make sure we're pairing that with some kind of fat, fiber, and protein, as that all helps to kind of change the blood sugar response in a very positive way. Another kind of food that can really help support our health, for cardiovascular health specifically, would be increasing fiber intake, especially for individuals who have concerns around their cholesterol levels. Fiber is very important in helping kind of manage or support that. And then for individuals who might have high blood pressure, increasing potassium can be really helpful. And then also being aware or mindful of sodium intake. So kind of bumping up potassium, maybe just being aware or mindful of sodium, maybe decreasing if we're kind of having a high salt intake. Those can be really helpful for high blood pressure overall. So those are a couple specific food things that can help kind of support our health overall. Then kind of looking at sleep or stress, or why is this important? Why is the dietitian kind of bringing this up? So sleep, poor sleep can impact our energy level, which can make it more challenging to cook. So if we're not getting restful sleep at night, we're probably feeling really tired throughout the day. And that's going to impact our ability to cook food, to think about like meal planning or incorporating certain things at meals. And so we want to make sure we're getting plenty of sleep so that our energy level is really great. And then with stress, that can increase our cortisol levels, which can impact our blood sugar, cravings, and energy. So we want to make sure we're addressing stress so that we can help support blood sugar. We can kind of make sure that our cravings, we're adding in foods to help support those the best that we can. And so all of these kind of play a role in our health as a whole. It's kind of like a big puzzle, and we want to make sure that we're addressing all of the puzzle pieces. So then kind of going into the addition mindset around food. So really approaching any dietary changes with thinking about maybe what nutrients or food groups are currently missing that we can add into our diet. as opposed to approaching it with eliminating, restricting, or limiting foods. The reason behind this is the second that we talk about food in an elimination mindset or restricting food, it automatically creates a very negative environment around food. And that can be a stressor. So how we talked about, trying to manage or reduce stress as a whole, we don't want to add more stress when it comes to our food or food choices. And so an example of this might be, let's say at breakfast time, we tend to have like a egg, sausage, and cheese English muffin sandwich. Great, we have carbs, we have protein, we have fat. What we might be missing a little bit there is fiber and maybe some of those micronutrients. And so maybe the addition there is a piece of fruit to kind of go with breakfast. So we can keep everything else the same. We're just missing a few things, and so maybe we want to add that in. The other side to this would be approaching food with kind of an all foods fit mentality, and that there's not necessarily any good food, any bad food. The second we kind of label those, that morality falls onto us when we eat it. So again, another stressor, especially if we're eating a food that feels bad, we're automatically going to feel kind of guilty or stressed about doing that. And so really approaching food with the mindset that everything can fit into our diet, right? If let's say we ate donuts for every single meal throughout the day, we'd probably be missing a lot of things that we need. And same goes for if all we ate all day was broccoli, we'd probably be missing a lot of things that we need. So really trying to find that balance of all foods kind of fitting into our diet. And then just a little bit around weight concerns and wanting to highlight kind of a study here looking at health behaviors in weight or BMI. So really trying to approach health with those health concerns. Weight isn't a behavior that we can just change. It might be an outcome of some of the health behaviors that we're integrating, but to focus solely on I need to change my weight to improve my health status is a little bit kind of narrow visioned, right? Because we just talked about how food plays a role, stress, sleep, exercise. And so really trying to approach it with all of those things as opposed to just looking at weight. Again, weight can change because of those health behaviors, but we want to bring the attention to all of those other things. And then research has shown, right, that it's the health behaviors that are most supportive of our health status, not our weight specifically. And so this graph on the right kind of shows, starting from the left side of this bar graph where we see the biggest variation in the bars, that is 0 health behaviors. So fruit and veggie intake, fiber intake, stress, I think it was alcohol consumption. That was people in different BMI categories engaging in no behaviors. We can see a really big difference in health status. And then shifting all the way to the right, where the bar graphs are the most equal, that is individuals in different BMI categories. So no matter across the BMI categories, if every person engaged in 4 of those health behaviors, that made health status pretty much the same across any kind of BMI or weight category. So really, again, just kind of highlighting that it's those health behaviors that are really supportive of our health overall. And so then kind of summarizing into that sustainable change, right? We've talked about a lot of things today. And so number 1 would be trying to avoid kind of that all or nothing mindset. It's really hard to maintain. So again, really trying to find that balance between food, between enjoyable movement. And because if we approach it with all or nothing, that often makes people feel like they fail if they're not doing everything that they have on their list in regards to lifestyle changes. Second one would be making small additions or changes to food and movement. So kind of making gradual baby steps to help build that routine. So instead of approaching a fruit and veggie goal of, I'm going to go from 0 fruits and veggies throughout the day to I'm going to jump all the way up to 5, that's probably going to be really challenging and really hard to fit into your day or routine already. So I would encourage you to try to say, okay, I'm going to add in 1 fruit or vegetable throughout the day and kind of walk your way towards that 5 servings. And then the third one is giving yourself compassion and grace with adding in New Year's goals around health behaviors. Something is better than nothing. And so really being flexible, acknowledging that like, hey, change is really hard. And so really trying to do those small additions so that you feel really successful in your goals. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'm happy to help answer any of those. And as always, thank you, KSB Community and Wellness, for hosting these nutrition educational topics. And then look for next month's topic with Jade, one of our other dietitians.